It's crazy to think that we're already a quarter of the way through 2024. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome back to another video on my channel. The month of March is officially over, so today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 movies that I watched in the month of March 2024. I was actually a little bit more focused on TV shows this month, so I didn't quite watch as many movies as I typically do, but I did watch some really good ones. So let's just hop right into it. Coming in at number 5 for me, I have Anatomy of a Fall. This was one of the few Best Picture nominees that I had yet to watch. And so I finally did. I sat down, watched it with my parents, and I loved this movie. I really enjoyed it. I've always been a big fan of foreign movies, so and the trailers made it look really good. I like kind of courtroom drama like movies like that, like 12 Angry Men. So I was hooked right from just the premise of it. And I loved it. I liked it more than I expected to, actually. And I thought the writing was brilliant. And even though it's in a different language, I don't speak French. So watching it with subtitles, it wasn't hard to follow. And it was a pretty like the writing was done well enough where it was simple enough to follow and still be compelling and captivating. I just really dug it. Like I said, the writing is amazing. I like all of the characters, and I just kind of like the way it's formatted, of this like kind of almost whodunit, like was it her or was it just an accident, and I just really dug it. Number 4 for me, I have A Quiet Place. I really, really like this movie. It's a great horror movie from John Krasinski. He directed and wrote the film and starred in it. And I just really like this movie. I like the idea of you have to be silent because there are these creatures out here that can hunt only by sound, so they have like magnified hearing, and if they hear anything, they attack it. And so it's a really interesting premise that you need to be silent and you can't talk, you can't make any noise, or these monsters will come and hunt you and kill you. And with it, even with there being almost zero dialogue, there's like one scene, 2 scenes with dialogue in them. Even with there being very minimal dialogue, just like with Anatomy of a Fall, it's very compelling, very interesting, and it keeps you hooked. It's not necessarily a horror, I mean, it is a horror movie, but it's more of a thriller, I would say. It's not really horror, but there are some good scares, and there's moments that, even when you've seen it before, like when Emily Blunt's character steps on the nail going down the stairs, even when you've seen the movie 3, 4, 5 times, those moments still get you and still make you like wince every single time. That's what I like about this movie. It still holds up after each rewatch. Number 3, I have the first Dune Part 1. I rewatched this movie again with my parents to leading up to the release of Dune Part 2. And I like this movie more every single time I watch it. I love all of the world building. Denis Villeneuve is very good at making big budget spectacles that still are able to tell a very interesting story. You're not just here for the visual effects. And I love all of the characters. This movie is definitely a little bit more slower paced, I would say, than Part 2, because this movie has the burden and the responsibility of doing all of the world building and laying the foundation for these worlds and these characters. And so I think because of that, it can sort of go down a little bit. Throughout the movie, you're just wanting to see action, and this movie isn't that. There are a few action sequences here and there, but this movie is very heavy on the world building. But I do still love it. I love all the characters, like I said. Especially Oscar Isaac's character is a big standout. Really wish he would have made it out of this one. Timothée Chalamet is great in the lead role. Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, as minimal her screen time is, they're all great. So I just really love everything about this movie. I think it's fantastic, and it goes up. I like it. Like I said, I love it each more. I love it more every single time I watch it. Number 2 for me is Fury. This was a movie that I had been wanting to watch for a long time. I love Brad Pitt. I love war movies, specifically World War II movies. And so I finally saw it on Netflix and decided to watch it. And I absolutely loved it. It's become one of my new favorite war movies. And I just like that it shows not necessarily a different side of the war, but they focus more on tank warfare instead of trench warfare in this movie. And I really like that the movie is titled Fury because Brad Pitt and his crew command a tank named Fury. And I just like all the characters, and I like that they don't shy away from the darkness of the war. They very much show how dark the war can be, with everybody dying, and kind of this movie is proof that not everybody has happy endings. Like, even the main characters sometimes don't always have a happy ending. And I thought Logan Lerman was really good in this movie. One of the better roles I've seen from him. I loved Michael Peña's character, and everybody just did a fantastic job. And I love the writing, and I'm a sucker for war movies, so this was right up my alley. And like I said, it's become one of my new favorite war movies. But coming in first place for me is Dune Part 2. I saw this for a second time with my friends, again in IMAX. And I loved this movie more a second time, and I will probably continue to watch it more every time I see it, just like with Part 1. This movie takes everything that you love from the first movie and just expands on it and makes it so much better. The characters are more developed, the world. Since the first movie had all the responsibility of doing the world building for these characters and for Arrakis, this planet, that means that Dune Part 2 can just jump straight into the action, and that's exactly what it does. It jumps immediately right into the action, brings you right into the middle of the story, picks up right where the first one left off. And this movie just has everything that you really wanted from the first movie. The new villain, Feyd-Rautha, is terrifying. Austin Butler does great. Timothée Chalamet does even better in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson, her character has a lot more to do, and she is freaking awesome in this movie. Zendaya is now a standout character. And also Javier Bardem's character is also fantastic. I talked about him a lot in my review. So I just really loved this movie, and I love the visuals, the cinematography and the visual effects are all incredible, and the writing is amazing. I could talk about this movie for hours. I absolutely love it. And yeah, I did an entire review on Dune Part 2 a couple of weeks ago. You can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 movies I watched in the month of March 2024. What do you agree with my list? Let me know what was your favorite movie you watched in the month of March 2024. And that's all I have for you today. Until my next video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.